Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu on alert. New variant spreading across India. Is COVID nightmare back with full force? Cases on rise. Should you be worried? We answer all your queries. South COVID surge. That is our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nadu. Haunting images that we just showed you of the COVID nightmare. With holiday season approaching, is COVID back right now? Is there a reason to worry? Are we going to be seeing a COVID wave hitting us very soon? It's because of the new variant that you're seeing a spike in cases, particularly in the state of Kerala. But should you put a pause on your holiday plans? Do you need to mask up? We'll answer all of those questions for you. And considering, of course, that there's a lot of talk about COVID coming back, we decided that on 6 p.m. Prime, we will put the focus on what's really happening and the government's advisory on this. A quick check of the headlines before we tell you more. Opposition MPs suspended. Total suspensions now at 146. Lok Sabha adjourned now, Sanadai. India bloc protests claiming murder of democracy. Amid Parliament stalemate, Prime Minister Modi tears into the India bloc, says opposition is constantly attacking democracy. Contentious CEC bill passed in Lok Sabha. Government gets final say to appoint chief poll officer with a panel of the Prime Minister, Union Minister and LOP. Poll strategist Prashant Kishore speaks exclusively to India Today. Says Congress must admit to its own failures to ensure India bloc stands a chance in 2024.
The problem is not that there is no better strategy to take on BJP. The problem is Congress doesn't want to accept that they are moribund and they need to do things differently.
Another massive setback for the DMK. Stalin Mantri K. Ponmudi sentenced to 3-year jail term in illegal assets case. BJP hits out, says DMK is steeped in corruption. And Canada's big tonal shift barb at India. Trudeau says India's tone has changed after US charges. Claims attacking Canada won't solve any problems. This Thursday evening, as we put the focus on COVID, let's take a look at what the numbers really are like now. Is there a reason to worry? This is the JN1 variant that's led to a spike in COVID cases. In the last 1 week, you will see that the number of cases has increased marginally, in the sense that before this, it was below 100. It was double digits. Now it's gone into triple digits. And largely, the number of cases, and these are daily cases that are being reported, from December 16th at 339, has continuously maintained a similar graph, where today it stands at 358. I know it's a sense of deja vu, and not in a good way, as we talk about overall cases, active cases, etc. The number of deaths, let's look at that. From December 19 to today, in all, there have been 6 deaths that have been reported. And you will largely see that whether it's the cases or deaths, it's largely being reported in the state of Kerala. Most of the cases right now being reported in the southern states, in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. And the reason for Karnataka and Tamil Nadu is, of course, because they border with the state of Kerala. A number of measures that have been now put in place in these states to ensure that this spread doesn't go across India. But are we going to really be looking at a COVID wave? Are we going to be seeing cases surge in the holiday season? It depends also a lot on us and what kind of precautions we take. But no, there's no mandate with regard to masks. There's no restrictions on travel or any of that. Let's in fact focus on what's happening in South. We'll be getting our reporters also with us. Shibimul will be joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram. We have Pramod Madhav live from Chennai and Sagaraj live from Bengaluru to tell you what each state is doing right now to fight this crisis. I want to focus first on the state of Kerala, because here you're seeing the most number of cases, where active cases has reached the number of 2,341. The death toll in Kerala due to COVID the last few days is at 3. What's important also to focus on here when we look at the state of Kerala and these figures is that the first case of the JN1 variant has been reported right here in the state of Kerala, and since then there has been an increase in cases. The Kerala government has already got a task force working. They've also taken a number of steps to ensure that with regards to isolation and all necessary steps, that's immediately taken. But I want you to listen in to exactly what the Kerala COVID task force has to say about this current COVID surge.
If you look at respiratory illnesses in general, the contribution of COVID is much greater in December compared to November, and that was much greater than in October. Fortunately, most of these people are not requiring hospitalization. That's because most of the COVID cases are now occurring in the people who are traveling. JN.1 is a fast spreading variant. It could go into the next tier of the population, which is the vulnerable age group, which is older people and also people with multiple comorbidities.
Now, there are a couple of things we'd also like to highlight. One is that if you look at the deaths that have been reported in Kerala, is largely with people with comorbidities. This variant per se is not a very severe variant. Plus, of course, most of us are vaccinated. So that also helps in the fight against this current variant. Having said that, it is spreading in Kerala, and so steps are being taken to arrest that spread more than anything else. And what helps on that front? The central government has also in fact sent across advisory to state governments to ramp up testing to ensure that if there are any symptoms, people are aware that COVID is once again spreading, and they immediately report back to the authorities. As we all know and have lived through this nightmare, we know what it really takes to fight COVID at this stage. And the focus right now is on what's playing out in Kerala, because there is no doubt a very worrying and concerning spread that's being reported right now in the state. Now, the Kerala government has reassured that they're taking all necessary steps right now. And I want to bring in Shibi Mole on this broadcast on that. Shibi, good evening. What we're seeing right now in Kerala is concerning, yes, and it's been happening for the last few days, essentially, where cases have been going up in the state. What is the government really doing about it? What are the kind of steps that have been taken? What is the advisory sent out to citizens?
Well, Akshita, right now we are the total number of cases in the state is standing at 2,041. That's the latest numbers that we've got from the Union Health Ministry, because the state in the last few months has not released the COVID data. They were releasing it on a regular basis, but since the last 1 month or so, they have stopped releasing the COVID data, which has again raised a lot of questions to the state government. Now, Health Minister Veena George is saying is that there's nothing to panic as of now. Everything is under control. In November, there was an increase in the number of fever cases, and the deaths that were reported in the state were not exactly due to COVID, but all of them who were admitted to the hospital had other serious health issues, and that was the reason, that was the cause of the death, is what Health Minister is saying. She's saying that the JN variant that was first detected in Kerala was already there in India. She was saying that recently in Singapore airport, around 16 Indians who went to Singapore were tested positive for the JN variant. So it was already there in India, but it was detected in Kerala just because of the good health system that's existing. But yes, there have been no proper guidelines that has been issued yet regarding on behalf of the state government side. Health Minister has said that they've organized a meeting. They've ensured that the oxygen beds and keep account on the serious health, keep account on the elderly who are getting admitted to the hospital with keep account on the elderly who are getting admitted to the hospital with fever cases and other issues. But other than that, we have not yet got a guideline regarding wearing the mask or using sanitizers regularly, as we see in other states, even though the number of cases in the state is at a really high actually.
All right, so it's the highest in Kerala compared to other states, and worrying really that the state government, while yes, they've issued several press communiques about what's happening, isn't releasing data on a daily basis. And that's an important step that needs to be taken really by authorities. We're seeing that in Tamil Nadu as well, which we'll talk about in just a bit. I want to focus on the state of Karnataka. Very promptly, Karnataka put in a slew of measures, especially in districts that are bordering with Kerala. Active cases in Karnataka stand at 92. There have been 2 deaths reported in Karnataka, very similar to Kerala. I'd again like to add here that the deaths are with people with comorbidities who are particularly, of course, vulnerable in this situation. The Karnataka government has promised they're taking all necessary steps. They've in fact advised that people with comorbidities must wear masks to protect themselves with the rise of this variant. Let's play out for you some reactions that have come in from the Karnataka government, including the Chief Minister.
Myself, Deputy Chief Minister, Home Minister, Health Minister, Medical Education Minister and other officers of the Health Department and also the members of the Technical Advisory Committee. We met today and discussed so many things. We have taken a decision that this disease, we need not be panic. So far, 3 persons have died, not because of COVID alone, not because of COVID alone. There are other ailments are also there.
All the aspects what the Technical Advisory Committee is saying, what are the latest reports that are coming, because now we're going to ramp up testing. So by Saturday we'll be doing, going to reach almost 5,000 is what our target is by Saturday and Sunday. So then we will also get new information, new feedback, so that has to be discussed, and what protocols we have to follow in the future, and all those things will be, on a regular basis we need to keep updated and take decisions based upon our inputs. As of now there is no restrictions on movement, on stay, on travel, on functions, programs, no restrictions are there. Like we've already said earlier also, people above 60 should be more cautious and preferably they should wear masks.
So 2 takeaways from those reactions. One, where the Karnataka Chief Minister says you have to keep in mind that those who have died also were comorbids. And secondly, where the Karnataka Health Minister says that at this point there are no restrictions that have been imposed, merely advisories for citizens to stay safe right now. Sagai Raj is joining us live from Bengaluru with more details on this. Sagai, the cases that we're seeing, are these largely being reported in South Karnataka, in districts bordering Kerala? Because we know that that's where the government really is putting their focus.
Yes, government is putting a focus on the border, but the cases are more in Bengaluru because the more you do the test, the more infection you can detect. That's what the experts have to say. And that is one of the reasons why the Karnataka government is going to increase the test starting from today to 5,000. So every day they have to do 5,000 test. And if you notice that what we get to learn according to the data that we have collected from the health department is 3 people have died who were infected with COVID, but they are not only infected with COVID but also a few other comorbid issues where they might have diabetic or heart issue or some other things. So that's when these people succumb to those kind of infection, not only for COVID. Totally 92 people have been infected with COVID in the state of Karnataka. 72 of them have been advised to take home quarantine and 20 of them are in the hospital taking treatment, and close to 7 people are in ICU as of now. But all these people have comorbidities. So as of now, the government says need not panic, but you have to wear mask when there are huge gathering and people above 60 years and also people who have other disease like comorbidity like a diabetic patient or a heart patient or cancer or any other patient to wear mask in public places.
All right, Sagai getting us all of the details of what the Karnataka government is doing. They have very proactively in the last few days issued constant advisories, taken several steps to ensure that they're fully prepared if there is a further surge in COVID cases in Karnataka. Let's focus on Tamil Nadu. There will be questions about what really the government is doing. Active cases right now in the state of Tamil Nadu stand at 89. Fortunately, 0 deaths that have been reported in the state. That number of 89, rather concerning. What you will see is that testing numbers are also rather low, and that's why perhaps you're not seeing a massive surge. But this is concerning that, you've got Tamil Nadu, which neighbors Kerala, and yet not many steps taken by the government so far. Pramod Madhav is joining us with more on that. Pramod, am I right in saying that the government doesn't seem to have woken up yet to the concern of COVID and perhaps the possibility of a surge?
Well, Akshita, one thing we have to also give in consideration is that the state government is battling not just one but two disasters. One that occurred in the like northern parts, that is Chennai, Kanchipuram, Chengalpattu and Tiruvallur, and simultaneously just a week's time period and a massive disaster has occurred in the southern districts, Thoothukudi, Kanyakumari, Tenkasi and Tirunelveli. And as we speak, even the chief ministers over there, in the southern districts alone, 40 lakh people have been devastated, and there are like still areas where the government machinery is not able to reach so far, and it seems like the entire energy is focused on that one. Generally what happens is that if there is a surge in such numbers, the districts that is bordering Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and the Kerala will be given advisories and precautionary methods will be taken. But right now it seems that the entire machinery is concentrating on the south districts, and perhaps in 1 or 2 days the Tamil Nadu government can issue advisories. However, in the beginning of this month we saw that there was a surge in flu alone in Coimbatore, and there was also a kind of information given that senior citizens and anyone with comorbid conditions should wear masks. But right now the entire machinery of Tamil Nadu government is concentrating on providing rescue, relief and rehabilitation for the people who are affected by the floods in the northern districts and southern districts of Tamil Nadu, Akshita.
So there have been natural calamities, yes, but the concern also will be whether that sets up the ground for a further spread of infections like COVID as well as other health issues. The government will be in all likelihood releasing an advisory very, very soon. Cases going up in Tamil Nadu. So hopefully steps will be taken on that front. Thanks very much, Pramod. Thanks, Agai and Shibi, for joining us with those updates. I want to cut across to breaking news coming in on what the central government has to say about this COVID surge. So here's what top government sources have to say about the rise in COVID cases, particularly in the southern states. They are saying that you must be prepared for a further rise in COVID cases, particularly the winters. During the pandemic, we saw that kind of a trend as well, that during the winters you'd see cases going up. But also what the government has highlighted is that at this point there's no advisory yet on increasing your vaccine doses or any restrictions on travel, or for that matter compulsory masking. Now they've also made it clear that the virus's potential to cause severe illness has most definitely gone down. I want to go across to our health editor Sneha Mordani, who was there for an off-camera briefing also from the government. What's the sense you're getting really from the central government, Sneha? Is there a possibility of any sort of advisory being sent out where they're going to put some restrictions in place, where they're going to mandate masking or any of that?
Not just yet at all, not with these numbers, Akshita, given that the government believes that this is expected and this is going to happen every winter. Remember, it's a cyclical disease. Now, what is JN.1? It's literally the subtype of the Pirola variant, which is in fact from the Omicron family, essentially is the grandchild of the Omicron variant. So it's got reduced capacity in terms of causing severe infection. It's got just reduced capacity in terms of causing death. Unlike, remember, the Delta variant, which actually killed just so many healthy Indians in the horrific, terrible second wave of the pandemic. JN.1 has got no potential, is what the government says and believes after the research that's done. And that's the reason why specific questions on masks, even for the vulnerable, is what the government is not advising at that point in time. Wear it if you wish to, but there is no advisory. Third dose, should you take it if you haven't? Take it if you wish to, but there is no advisory. And they're expecting, Akshita, let me tell you, cases to even go up further, because once this alert has been issued, you could imagine what's happening. There is definitely more testing. So it's not like JN.1 has suddenly appeared in the last 2 weeks. It has been there for quite some time now, but there is more testing now. So when you look for it harder, you'll find more cases. It's as simple as that. Expect cases to increase because there will be more testing. The advice is that do test, but the advice for you and me really is that if you are unwell, the better idea would be to stay at home and mask up, I would say, if there are vulnerable individuals around. Vulnerable, in fact, should be extremely cautious. 23 deaths in India. The government says all of them did not actually die of the infection per se, but died because they were highly comorbid.
All right. Extremely useful information. Thanks very much, Sneha, for joining us with all of those details. Just to sum up for you, what really has come out so far from the government, and with this surge in COVID cases, is there a reason for you to be worried? What steps do you need to take? I just want to sum it up for you and explain it to you as simply as I can. First of all, is it mandatory to wear masks again? No, but it is very much advisable in crowded places, considering that there are, of course, diseases and COVID infection also in the air. Is there any restriction on travel? If you've got holiday plans in this season, should you go ahead and cancel it? There are no curbs as of now in any states. Even in a state like Kerala, there are no curbs. It's important for us to highlight that. So you don't need to cancel any of your travel plans as of now. Is another COVID wave anticipated? No. But as Sneha also told us, the case count is expected to go up. And that's largely because you're going to see testing being ramped up. There's no reason to be concerned by any of the data that comes in that shows, a huge surge in your state. Is the current COVID variant of JN1 lethal? No. But as far as those with comorbidities are concerned, they must be careful, which is always the case. And even during the pandemic, of course, comorbid patients had to be doubly careful than the rest of us. Is the vaccine effective against this new variant, against the JN1 variant? Yes, very much so. The government, however, hasn't come out with any advisory per se or any directive for an additional dose. So if you're vaccinated at this point, the guarantee is that it won't turn into a serious illness. That much is for sure. And there's no need for you to rush to a hospital and get an additional dose. You could choose to do it, but there's no advisory that's come in from the government. We will, of course, get you all the latest that comes in on the COVID surge and, of course, any communication from the government. But for now, while cases are going up, there's absolutely no reason to panic. I'm slipping into a very, very short break. Coming up on the other side, the big breaking news of the dramatic moment that wrestler Sakshi Malik has announced that she's quitting wrestling as a form of protest over the new WFI chief's appointment.
India, as you know, is a land of diversity where countless stories are born every day. A brand that has celebrated the rich mosaic of our country, India Today, is the brand that has been covering stories from all spheres of life from across the country tirelessly, making sense of the myriad India and the Indians residing in here. The story of India Today and the story of my latest film, Donkey, which is inspired by the phenomenal dreams and struggles of the same Indians and is a story about love and friendship filled with humor and heart.
हमने मजबूरी में अपना घर छोड़ा था, वरना कोई अपना देश, अपना परिवार, अपने दोस्तों को छोड़कर क्यों जाएगा सरहदों पे गोली खाने?
While my film Donkey symbolizes the struggle of many who leave home and their loved ones behind in the hope for a better life, they miss their homeland in this tough bargain. But it's their spirit that helps them carry on. India Today has been capturing the indomitable spirit of being an Indian for over 5 decades now. India Today, making sense to India, making sense of India.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
A fresh dangle has erupted over the election of the new wrestling body chief. Sanjay Kumar Singh is the new president of the Wrestling Federation of India, considered to be a close aide of former WFI chief Brij Bhushan, and that's what's triggered outrage. Remember, Brij Bhushan was suspended after he was accused of sexual harassment by a handful of wrestlers. And India's top wrestlers, the likes of Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Vinesh Fogart, remember, had sat on a massive dharna demanding action against Brij Bhushan. They're now saying that their fight was futile since his proxy is now the WFI chief. In an emotional outburst, wrestler Sakshi Malik broke down, declared that she's quitting the sport, she's completely giving up, even leaving her boots behind on the table after her press conference. She was seen visibly emotional, breaking down and crying soon after the press conference, saying she has no choice but to go ahead and give up on wrestling.
लड़ाई लड़ी पूरे दिल से लड़ी, लेकिन अगर प्रेसिडेंट ब्रिज भूषण जैसे आदमी जैसा ही रहता है, उसका जो उसका बिल्कुल सहयोगी है, उसका बिजनेस पार्टनर है, वो अगर इस फेडरेशन में रहेगा तो मैं अपनी कुश्ती को त्यागती हूं और मैं आज के बाद कभी भी आपको वहां नहीं दिखूंगा। तो बस सभी देशवासियों को धन्यवाद जिन्होंने आज तक इतना मेरा सपोर्ट किया और मुझे इस मुकाम तक पहुंचाया। धन्यवाद।
ये हमारी जीत नहीं है, देश के पहलवानों की जीत है। ये फेडरेशन अपने लिए नहीं चुनी जाती है, देश के खेल को बढ़ाने के लिए चुनी जाती है। और मैं ये उम्मीद करता हूं कि 11 महीने के अंदर जो कुश्ती का नुकसान हुआ है, खेल की गतिविधि बंद है, नई फेडरेशन तुरंत इस गतिविधि कुश्ती की गतिविधि को शुरू करे और जो नुकसान हुआ है उसका भरपाई करे। और ये मेरी जीत नहीं है, देश के पहलवानों की जीत है।
All right, let's move on now. The countdown is on to the inauguration of the Ram Temple in exactly 1 month from now, on 22nd January. Now, you've got massive preparations are underway. The Temple Trust has decided to start the consecration ceremony on 16th January. It will come to an end on 22nd January with the Prime Minister, of course, in attendance. The temple will then be open for public on 23rd. Now, today also, you've got several invites going out to VVIPs, including several opposition leaders who've been invited. This includes former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, Sonia Gandhi, and the Congress leadership has said that Sonia Gandhi in all likelihood will attend. If not, there will be a Congress delegation that's sent across.
Preparations for the January inaugurations are going on. The Ram Mandir will be closed to the public on the 21st and 22nd before opening its doors for all on the 23rd. Invitations have been sent out to all dignitaries, including opposition leaders. Sonia Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, along with other state unit leaders from the Congress party, have received invitations from the Temple Trust. So have Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal, BSP Supremo Mayawati, the CPM Sitaram Yechury and the CPI's D. Raja. Former Prime Ministers Dr. Manmohan Singh and H.D. Devegowda have also been invited. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath personally supervised security arrangements in Ayodhya on Thursday. It's going to be an amalgamation of human as well as artificial intelligence with air tactical aerostat systems, AI-powered facial recognition cameras, long-range aerostat cameras, upped riverine security, and special AI-powered alarm systems programmed to sound alerts on intrusion of any suspected boats. Ayodhya is going to be secured from land, air and water.
They're also expecting a grand coronation of Lord Ram on the 22nd of January when Ram Lalla will finally be in his temple, and for that preparations are underway and a big footfall is expected in Ayodhya just before the inauguration in Uttar Pradesh.
The construction work of a grand railway station in Ayodhya has also been finished. It awaits the Prime Minister's inauguration. This station, with modern architecture and all facilities, will connect the city to various parts of the country once it starts operations from the 19th of January. With Abhishek Mishra in Ayodhya, Bureau Report, India Today.
And we'll be getting you non-stop ground reports from Ayodhya as we count down to the mega inauguration set to take place on January 22nd. I'm slipping into a very short break here on 6 p.m. Prime. Coming up on the other side, the big political story coming in from Tamil Nadu of a big setback really for the DMK as Stalin's minister K. Ponmudi has not just been convicted but also sentenced to a 3-year jail term in the disproportionate assets case.
Insect vultures.
Yes, your spinach is power food. Your greens are absolutely essential. Sprouts are a must-have. Winter saag, different kinds, absolutely unmissable. But what if we tell you that these amazingly healthy vegetables can pose you a risk? And if you do intend to consume it, utmost caution has to be exercised. For starters, cabbage leaves contain tapeworm and tapeworm eggs, which if consumed can prove to be fatal for your brain. Something that eating cabbage cannot be harmful if it is washed and cooked properly. But cabbage leaves contain tapeworms that can't be seen with naked eye. Nor do these tapeworms get destroyed by cooking or even washing in hot water. Besides cabbage, there's a long list of vegetables that you should avoid consuming in raw or cooked form. Meat and vegetables, cabbage, lettuce, eggplant, spinach, kale, capsicum, colacia leaves or arbi ke patte have tapeworm. When consumed, these tapeworms get to the human brain and cause a condition called cysticercosis. It is the type of infection that impacts the brain and causes headache and seizures. They can cause inflammation and also lead to cysts. It's also known to cause epilepsy, severe headaches, seizures, block or narrow intestine ducts, nausea, weakness, diarrhea, abdominal infections, hunger or loss of appetite, fatigue, weight loss, vitamin and mineral deficiencies. What about fruits? Most fruit is grown above ground, which makes them less prone to parasites. Some vine fruit varieties are particularly prone to parasites because of their close proximity to the earth. If we wash and peel fruit thoroughly, we can lower the danger of parasite infection. In New Delhi with Gargi Rohadgi, Sneha Mordani for India Today TV.
Is it possible for metes and cookies to come together?
At least one day it will come together. Sir Desai, yes. Hey, you have promised you have to come to me. Thank you, you are the next of God. You are next of God.
How are you going to celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, I am planning to do here in Manipur.
Welcome back. The DMK suffered a massive setback today as Minister Ponmudi, who the DMK has defended right up till now, has been sentenced to a jail term, a 3-year jail term, in a disproportionate assets case that dates back to a decade ago. The Madras High Court handed out this jail term to Minister Ponmudi, even as he tried to, in fact, say that because of his old age, there should be leniency. The court didn't accept that. He's also been slapped with a fine of 50 lakh rupees. His wife also has to cough up 50 lakhs. Let's get you all the details of the political reactions also that have come in on this.
The DMK is knee-deep in corruption mess. One minister after the other now in the line of fire over graft allegations. The latest wicket to fall, Minister K. Ponmudi, who has been convicted in a decade-old illegal assets case. The Madras High Court handed out a 3-year jail term to Minister Ponmudi in a decade-old disproportionate assets case. Ponmudi and his wife have also been slapped with a fine of 50 lakh rupees. Ponmudi, who appeared in the Madras High Court for the sentencing, appealed to the court on grounds of old age and sought minimum punishment. But it clearly didn't cut any ice with the Madras High Court, which had reopened the case and reversed the judgment in the acquittal by lower court case. Ponmudi can now appeal against the verdict in a superior court, but the political damage has already been done. The DMK, which so far chose to defend Ponmudi with this conviction, has no option but to remove the minister.
While Ponmudi will not be going to jail anytime, as he can go ahead and appeal with the Supreme Court, he stands disqualified due to the conviction. And DMK, that has so far defended Ponmudi, now has no other choice and decided to hand over the portfolio of Higher Education Ministry to Minister Raja Kannappan for now.
The conviction and subsequent sentencing has led to political embarrassment for the DMK, as the BJP and the AIA-DMK both lashed out at Chief Minister M.K. Stalin.
After Senthil Balaji, who's not getting any relief from Supreme Court, now another minister in the DMK government, Ponmudi, who had once said that it is the agenda of India Alliance to abuse Sanatan, insult Sanatan, has been convicted and sentenced to 3 years of imprisonment for corruption. DMK today means dirty money kiska, because there are many cases of dirty money and corruption that are emerging from DMK.
This is a big day. The judgment marks the end of Ponmudi, but not only Ponmudi, this marks the end of DMK. Along with Ponmudi, 12 more ministers are facing criminal charges, and they all soon will be shown the doors. And this is a big day in judiciary. People who have restored faith in judiciary, it has come true. This marks the end of DMK in Tamil Nadu politics.
The DMK, meanwhile, is firefighting allegations of corruption, accusing both the BJP and the AIA-DMK of being steeped in corruption.
Both AIDMK and BJP are welcoming this judgment and saying that there are much more ministers like this in DMK, claiming that there are a lot of corruption. As a party member, what do you like to say?
They cannot have any say on this because their leader was found guilty and they have served the sentence of 4 years. They were found guilty by the Supreme Court. They have no locus to speak about this. BJP also facing so many corruptions because they are in power, they are able to manage. 2024, the list will be otherwise.
First, Senthil Balaji. Now, Ponmudi. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has repeatedly defended his party leaders against allegations of corruption. But there has been telling silence. Madras High Court's scathing punishment handed over to Ponmudi. With Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin today visited parts of South Tamil Nadu which have been ravaged by heavy rainfall that led to unprecedented flooding. The plight of residents in these areas, and I'm talking about Tirunelveli, Tenkasi, Kanyakumari, Thoothukudi, it still remains very grave. And it sparked a massive political war with the opposition BJP targeting the Stalin government and hashtags like Missing CM trending.
Unprecedented rainfall has led to massive floods in southern Tamil Nadu. Vast areas in Thoothukudi and Tirunelveli are completely underwater, leading to unprecedented hardship for lakhs of residents who are resorting to protests and even violence. Accusing the Stalin government of apathy and negligence. Angry flood survivors attacked a team of health officials in Thoothukudi during a roadblock. While the attackers were detained, residents staged protests claiming denial of food, water and relief material for 3 days. Many claimed there was no flood alert sounded by authorities.
ஒரு பொருள் ஒரு வீடு எல்லாமே சாதாரணமா போச்சு. ஒரு வீடு அழியலனா அந்த ஒரு வீட்ல எத்தனை குடும்பம் தங்கி இருக்கோம். நாங்க எல்லாம் கோயில் குளத்துல போய் நாங்க உட்கார்ந்து படுத்துட்டு வந்து சேர்ந்திருக்கோம். குளிருக்குள்ள பிள்ளைகளை கூட்டிட்டு வச்சு எங்க கூட்டி போய் நாங்க எங்க போய் படுக்க? குடிக்க தண்ணி கிடையாது. பிள்ளைகளை அங்க நாங்க உட்கார்ந்து எதிர்த்து வரோம். அடுத்த வீட்ல போய் உட்கார்ந்துட்டு வரோம். வெள்ளம் வந்து 2 நாள் ஆயிட்டு. 2-3 நாள் முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. சரி தண்ணில தான் வர முடியல. தண்ணி குறஞ்சது பிறகு வரணும்ல. அதுக்கு பிறகு வந்து எந்த மக்கள் வந்து யாரும் எட்டி பார்க்கல. நான் எங்களை பார்த்த மக்களா தெரியல. ஒரு அமைச்சரும் வரல. ஓட்டு கேட்கிறதுக்கு வராங்க. ஆனா நாங்க செய்வாங்கன்னு சொல்லி தான்.
The plight of residents in waterlogged areas of South Tamil Nadu sparked a big political war with opposition BJP targeting the Stalin government. State BJP chief Annamalai visited the flood zone and distributed relief. He accused Stalin government of failing to help the flood hit.
It shows where the chief minister's priorities are. When you know you have 110 centimeter of rains, Tamrabarani in full flow. The water, this part irrigates 47,000 acre, Tirunelveli 45,000 acre. So both the districts are literally collapsing. You know on day one this has happened. Then still you go to India Alliance meeting, which is not needed. You could have sent some senior leader, you could have deputed, you could have requested the India Alliance to shift their meeting. It only shows his priority is only political, not service, not governance.
Chief Minister Stalin and DMK's Kanimuri visited flood-hit areas and took stock of rescue and relief operations. Stalin also distributed relief.
Senior officials from the government also here along with the chief minister, and he of course will be distributing relief items. This includes food packets, bread packets, some biscuits, some clothes for change, bed sheets, rice and other basic essentials. And these are all people who've been affected by floods in Thoothukudi.
The floods have claimed multiple lives and caused damage to the tune of thousands of crores. With Shilpa Nair in Thoothukudi and Shibimol KG in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
And we'll continue, of course, getting you the latest ground reports from the worst affected parts of South Tamil Nadu. I'm slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we focus on the big box office clash between Donkey and Salar. Donkey is now out in theatres. There's massive fanfare this morning as SRK fans came together to watch the first day first show. We'll get you all the details in just a minute.
सस्पेंड कर दिए कि बाहर निकल गए। मॉक पार्लियामेंट, यूथ पार्लियामेंट होती है, अलग अलग रोल प्ले होता है। मॉक पार्लियामेंट होती है, सड़क पे भी होती है, पंचायत में भी होती है, गांव में भी होती है। और मिमिक्री एक आर्ट है और उसमें हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी बेस्ट हैं। उन्होंने तो संसद में रिकॉर्ड पे, भाई कल्याण बनर्जी ने तो जो है सीढ़ियों पर किया। तो आर्ट को आर्ट रहने दो, उसको जात से और पद से मत जोड़ो। हर चीज में राजनीति मत करो। अपना फायदा उठाने के लिए, देश के असली मुद्दों को भटकाने के लिए इस तरीके की राजनीति मत करिए।
Will
Pollutants other than particulate matter are the lesser evil and can adversely affect young children, the elderly, and those with weakened immune systems or respiratory ailments. But particulate matter can even affect healthy individuals. Based on the size, particulate matter is often divided into two groups. The first is PM10, which contains particles with sizes ranging from 2.5 to 10 micrometers. The other fraction contains PM2.5, which is 2.5 micrometers in diameter. To put it into perspective, PM2.5 is 30 times thinner than a strand of hair, which on average is 70 micrometers. It is invisible to the naked eye, and since it is microscopically small, it can penetrate the lungs. Most of the total mass of airborne particulate matter is usually made up of fine particles ranging from 0.1 to 2.5 micrometers, which is why they pose such a huge health risk.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Is it possible for metes and cookies to come together?
At least one day it will come together. Sir Desai, yes. Hey, you have promised you have to come to me. Thank you, you are the next of God. You are next of God.
How are you going to celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, I am planning to do here in Manipur.
Shah Rukh Khan and his third outing in 2023, Dunki, has created history as the first show in India was screened as early as 5:55 in the morning at Mumbai's iconic Gaiety Galaxy. Needless to say, it was a massive festive celebration that broke out as SRK fans came together to celebrate once again his massive outing in theatres this year.
It's officially the Dunki Day. And it is exactly how one had expected it to be. Firecrackers